Hi, I'm Barry Ostrowski. At Barnabas Health, we believe citizens need to be informed about the important healthcare issues affecting their lives. That's why we're proud to support healthcare programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners on public television.
Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at Newark Museum has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, University Hospital, Newark, New Jersey, Johnson & Johnson, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, the Fidelco Group, and by the North Ward Center. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No.
People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
We are pleased to welcome you to the Newark Museum. This is One-on-One. In this case, is One-on-Two. We are pleased to welcome Chandri and Athena Barat, the co-founder and director and creative director of the Barat Foundation, founded in 1997. Thanks for joining us at One-on-One here at the Newark Museum. Describe what the Barat Foundation is.
The Barat Foundation is a not-for-profit arts education organization based here in Newark. Our mission is transforming lives and communities through the arts, and in particular, public art by the public.
And founded because?
I grew up with the foundation. It was really my parents who founded it, and it's been a vehicle for creativity in the family since. My mother would really be better to answer.
Yeah. What was the genesis?
In the late 80s, we had a life-changing incident, and that is my husband was diagnosed HIV positive.
Back in 1989.
Yeah, and so for those of us who remember how terrible that was, it was a curse and a death sentence. We went reeling from it for a number of years. We had a public food company that we founded. We made frozen tofu entrees. We were living a beautiful American dream of a life, and in a week, it was over. And we really had to reinvent ourselves and find where our real passion was. And for me, I went back to being a student in France at the Sorbonne and Political Science Institute. We had 2 young children. I wanted them to experience the opening of mind and heart that I had experienced, and other children as well. And so the original genesis of the Barat Foundation was a summer language, art, culture immersion program in France. And that program still exists. We actually founded ourselves as a not-for-profit so we could take underserved students with overserved students. When we first started doing the program, our students were wealthy, Park Avenue, hedge fund kind of kids, which is wonderful.
What about today?
Today, we've taken some 60 students from Newark on full scholarships. They've all gone on to college, and for those of us who know the statistics in Newark, that's an amazing statistic. So that program is still alive and well, and this year we're changing our direction a little bit, and we're going to Iceland on a filmmaking expedition.
Extraordinary. Let's talk about the young people involved in the program now. Jackie, what is it called? It's called the Peace Mural. It's a mural. It's a huge mural painted by 500 children from 14 different schools. Can you talk about this?
Sure. As we said, we believe that art transforms lives and communities, and we have a real passion for collaborative public art, or as we say, public art by the public. So this mural was an incredible collaboration between the Newark Interfaith Coalition, which is a rabbi, an imam, a Protestant priest, and a Catholic priest, teamed up with us to find how to create a public statement about supporting our children. That this was something we could all agree that we needed to do. So we collaborated with them. We were the creative part of it and came up with this mural design. We had to call out a worldwide call. It wound up being a New Jersey artist that was chosen by the community panel. And the mural was painted in 13 different schools with over 500 students. So our concept is really, we want the young people of the city to have their hand directly on the renaissance of the city and to see themselves reflected back to them in a real successful and beautiful way.
Talk about the Peace Pledge. What is that?
Well, when we go into a community, usually schools, we go in with a curriculum. And for the Peace Mural, and the Dalai Lama was coming to Newark, we wanted the children to understand a little bit about Buddhism, a little bit about the Dalai Lama, and we put together a peace pledge for the students to work on and think about. Want
to take a look at it?
Yeah, that would be
great. Take a look at it, you can talk about it. This is the Peace Pledge.
I, Nasir King.
I, Erica Mejia.
I, Burnett Curtis Grace.
I, Daniel Mendez.
I, Rowena Nitima.
I, Devin D'Amico.
I, Christiane Beljour.
Do solemnly pledge to do my best to promote peace within myself.
I hereby dedicate myself to promote nonviolence,
the furtherance of human rights, spiritual values, and the inherent dignity of all human beings.
It's powerful.
Yeah, it's really powerful. And so we had 500 children. Each child got a peace pledge, and then we have a peace pledge, which is being donated to the New Jersey Historic Society.
Yeah, so 500 of their pledges to go there. And the process, I worked with a lot of the students on that. It was just incredible to talk about who the Dalai Lama is. No one really knew who that was. Talk about what is peace? It's something we talk about, we want, it's an ephemeral thing, but really where does it start? And talk about meditation and stillness. And, we, through the act of painting, and we had 190 panels that were all numbered out. It was like, okay, all we have to think about is putting the blue in this space. That's all that exists right now. That's all that matters. And I said, that's really a luxury. You don't have to think of anything else right now, and that this is what peace is. And even some of the most difficult students I worked with, students that are in gangs and used to being really tough, I said, okay, you want to be tough? You want to be a ninja? Like a ninja is focused, fully in the moment. So that's all we need to do that. And every time we practice that ability to be fully in the moment, we are bettering ourselves so that whatever your gift is, whatever your talent is, you're going to just sharpen that ability.
They got it.
And it was amazing. And they were there and they got it. Yeah.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room?
Oh, well, the elephant in the room.
What is that called?
It's a baby elephant. It's an animodule.
An animodule.
An animodule, which is from the words animate and modular. They are modularly created sculptures. They are a Newark original art form.
Really?
Yeah, the designer who came up with the initial concept is Terry Bruin. She is a Newark school art teacher. She's now at Science Park High School. And when we first saw this concept that Terry had created, it was 18 inches high. And
we're looking at bigger pictures right there. This is wild.
And it was a sculpture called My Mother's Wings, which was a testament, ironically enough, to a mother who had died of AIDS. And we saw these two flat planes just notched simply together so they would stand, and we thought, wow, could we do that 8 feet tall? And we found Terry, and she said, why not? And that was the birth of the Animodules. And essentially what it is it's taking something lifeless and giving it life. And each one of them is unique because each one of them is a totem to the community that created it. They're created by the students, they're designed by the students, they're painted by the students with an artist in residence that is more a facilitator than the artist. We want the ideas to come from the kids, we want the concepts to come from the kids, so they really own it. And they're all over the city now.
So it's also at the Newark Airport, Newark International Airport. Let me ask you, what does it do for these young people, in your opinion, to be so involved in such a powerful artistic experience?
Every time I go into a class, it's so typical. We'll be drawing for drafts, and students, 80% of the time, do this. They crumple it up. They go, oh, this was horrible. I'm no good at this. I can't do this. I can't do this. So when we put ourselves within a collaborative space, we don't really have the luxury to just throw things away. Suddenly, we're responsible to each other.
That's right.
And then when they understand that they get to speak for themselves. So this is, okay, well, what does it mean to be a student here? What does it mean to come from your home, to come from your... So it's like, it opens up like, okay, what does this mean? All of this happens under the umbrella of the Creation Nation, which is really the name of our Public Art by the Public programming.
Creation Nation.
Creation Nation. And so I also ask the students, I ask all my classes, well, define those words. What is creation? What is nation? And then those definitions, they begin to see themselves. Art is a way that we can come out of ourselves to see ourselves.
By the way, sorry for interrupting. This is, take a shot of this, put it on the screen. That's the Peace Parade?
That's the Peace Parade.
What is this? I got only 2 seconds left. What is this?
So the parade is the animodules coming together. It was, you know, this concept that each animodule is a totem to community. It's a singular community, and then all those communities come together for a greater whole. So it's how can a student, an individual student who feels like underrepresented, you know, they're not in the easiest reality, feel like they're part of something so great and so strong that they don't have to worry about ever being alone.
And by the way, real quick before I let you go, but being part of something bigger, the 350th anniversary of Newark, you're part of that as well.
Oh, we have the most exciting program.
Real quick.
We have 5 animodules that will represent the history of Newark, and this time we are working with students as normal, but we're also working with senior citizens.
That's great.
And the seniors working with the students together is really an incredibly beautiful thing.
Well, you're doing important work since 1997. Keep it up, Chandri and Athena Barat, the Barat Foundation. Thank you for joining us here. One-on-one, in this case one-on-two, well deserved. And at the Newark Museum. Thank you very much. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Welcome back to One-on-One with Steve Adubato at the Newark Museum. I'm Joanna Gagis, sitting in for Steve Adubato. I'm joined right now by Bob Doherty, who's the New Jersey State President of Bank of America. Bob, welcome.
Thank you, Joanna.
We are here at the beautiful Newark Museum talking about art from many different perspectives. Let's talk about Bank of America's role in supporting the arts in the Newark community.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I'm so glad we're doing this here, by the way, because it's one of my favorite places in New Jersey, and probably my, if not the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, then the Newark Museum is my favorite also. I'm on both those boards, and we're really supportive of it. And
conveniently both located right here in Newark, New Jersey.
That's right. And part of the reason I got involved in those is because of Bank of America. Actually, most of the reason I got involved in those is Bank of America, because Bank of America has a corporate philosophy of really giving back to the communities in which we're doing business. Most of that support, or much of that support, focuses on basic needs like food and housing and job creation, but they also realize to a great extent how important the arts are to communities for revitalization, for driving economic development, for improving the cultural and the lives of our customers.
Why is it important that corporations, that the corporate community support the arts? I mean, why is, you could easily go about your day and leave it to others, but why do you feel that that is something that corporations should take on as a responsibility?
Well, that's kind of a difficult question, because we're hopeful that a lot of the community in general also supports the arts, but we feel that not everybody can do it on their own, and we play an important role doing that, and we are successful when the communities in which we're doing business are successful, and so we want to give that back to places like Newark.
So there are a lot of programs that you've started, that Bank of America has started. One of them is Museums on Us, and that's actually a national initiative.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. What is it?
Sure. With the Museums on Us, we give free admission to anybody who's a Bank of America customer. So if you're a card holder, you walk in the first weekend of the month and you get free admission to a number of institutions nationwide. In New Jersey here, I think we have Museums on Us for 8 different institutions, and the Newark Museum being one of them. Also Liberty Science Center, the Wheaton Arts Center. There are so many places that are great cultural institutions that we give free access to for our customers.
The Montclair Art Museum is
Montclair
another
Art
one.
Museum's a huge one, yes.
Morris Museum.
Absolutely.
And in Oceanville, the Noyes Museum, if I'm saying that right?
Noyes Museum,
The
yes.
Noyes Museum of Art of Stockton University.
That's right.
So all across the state.
All across the state. Because our customers are all across the state. And so we're doing business from border to border, and we want to support as much as we can.
Art in our communities. What is that program?
Well, you know, Bank of America over the years is a consolidation of so many different institutions that date back hundreds of years, local banks that rolled up into Bank of America, and many times those institutions had their own corporate art collections. So Bank of America ended up, when we pulled the whole institution together, with a very large corporate art collection. And we thought that rather than having it be static and sit in a gallery somewhere, we'd actually create exhibitions that go on the road. And about 12 times a year, we send different exhibitions out to museums or cultural institutions that are in our communities.
Many museums are nonprofits, right?
Absolutely.
So the ability to afford the art, or the ability to be self-sustaining, is really a challenge, especially in this economic climate, right?
Absolutely.
So to have that kind of corporate partnership where you're helping to provide beauty and exhibitions that people are going to want to come out and support the museum to see.
It costs a lot of money for a museum to put on an exhibition. It goes a long way to helping them meet their obligations from of what they want to put on their calendar.
Shakespeare Theater of New Jersey down in Madison, New Jersey. What is that? And what is the impact on the community that program has?
The Shakespeare Theater is a real gem that a lot of people don't know about in the state. And it's a performing arts center for Shakespearean works. We support it by supporting some of the shows that they put on. If you've never been to a live performance of Shakespeare, I highly recommend it. It's really fun.
It's not just the art, it's also feeding the community that Bank of America is committed to. And local food banks, through the Give a Meal program, you've gotten involved and actually had your team come out, and one day in December you actually took part as a company in this program. So what is the Give a Meal program?
So Give a Meal is actually, through the National Give a Meal organization, the bank matches 2 for 1 for donations that are made to Give a Meal, and then you're able to designate your local food banks. So here in New Jersey, there were several food banks that were designated, the biggest one being the Community Food Bank in Hillside. For people who don't know that organization, it's absolutely huge. They are the distribution organization for hundreds of other local soup kitchens, food pantries, et cetera. 1,500, I think, partner organizations that they have, and they moved over 44 million pounds of food last year. It
sounds like a lot, but we know the need is so great. And so many families in New Jersey are either hungry or don't know where their next meal is going to come from, food insecure, right?
So we offered the opportunity for people to make a donation and have that donation essentially be tripled by the fact that they could donate to the national organization, but designate it locally.
You know, finally, we're here in the Newark Museum. We talked about the corporate support and how that impacts the community. How in particular has this museum impacted the community in Newark and throughout New Jersey?
Well, you know, the Newark Museum is a really important cornerstone institution for Newark itself. It's been here for over 100 years. Just about every school child in New Jersey will come through the Newark Museum, and it's got a spectacular collection, a very wide-ranging collection from modern art all the way to textiles to Egyptian art, et cetera. It's really a spectacular gem that a lot of people in New Jersey overlook because we're in the shadow of New York City.
And because, frankly, Newark hasn't had the best reputation over the years, but this downtown area has been revitalizing over the last several years, and every reason for people to come out here?
Absolutely. It's beautiful. The park has been redone by the same group that did Bryant Park in New York City. You have a lot of new construction, a lot of redevelopment of the historic buildings. There's a lot going on that's great in Newark.
Every reason to come to the Newark Museum.
Absolutely.
Bob Doherty, New Jersey State President, Bank of America, thank you so much.
Thank you.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We are pleased to be joined by Tom Nussbaum, who just simply says artist here, but you know something? You are an extraordinary artist. And the way I know you is because in my hometown, town you know well, of Montclair, New Jersey, there is a playground, the Edgemont Park, the children's playground there, that you had a very big hand in creating, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And I'm a visual artist. I'm a sculptor. I also do painted sculpture, and I have kind of two practices. One is I make work in my studio, and I also do a lot of public artwork. And so the playground was actually a public art project that I did. And there's a little story behind it in that the community came together to raise a lot of money to make an accessible playground for kids who are in wheelchairs.
That's right.
And the community, everybody kind of chipped in to go this extra mile to make this playground accessible. And they wanted a public artwork that kind of reflected that. And so I designed a gate for that, and I put all these little animals and creatures and crawling along the fence, and each one is bringing like a little wheel to the center of the gate, and in the center above the gateway, they're building this pile of wheels and kind of building something together. And so it was a metaphor for the community coming together.
And coming together is what it's all about, and I've been in that playground many times.
Yeah, good, I'm glad you enjoyed it, yeah.
Let me talk about your studio art, and tell me if this particular piece, East Orange Boogie Woogie, does it come out of your studio?
It does.
Let's take a look at it and you talk about it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm a sculptor, but I also build pieces that go on the wall, and they're kind of sculptural pieces that hang on the wall. And this particular piece was inspired by a pretty famous painting by Piet Mondrian called Broadway Boogie Woogie. It was from 1943, and Mondrian was a big artist in the history of Western abstraction. And my studio is in East Orange, New Jersey. And I was sort of riffing on some things that he had done. He used a very limited palette of red, yellow, blue, and white. And so I built this piece. I work very intuitively, and I kind of wanted to move that work forward and kind of push his ideas forward. And so I used a limited palette, and I built the piece out of welded steel. It's hundreds, thousands, really, of pieces welded together.
Thousands of pieces welded together.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can't appreciate that looking at it. I mean, I love the graphic, but you can't appreciate it until you see and feel it in 3D.
Yeah, it does have a three-dimensional feel, and
I'm curious about this, and for those of us who are not artists, when did you know you wanted to be an artist, or needed to be an artist?
Well, I always made things ever since I was a little kid. And I mean, I can remember being 6 years old and carving things out of sticks and gluing things together and building things and painting little models and when I was in third grade, I made all these constructions out of toothpicks, and I built these little structures, and here I am 60 years later, building much larger constructed pieces out of welded steel, but they're very similar to those things I made when I was a kid.
Your art. Different people take different things from it. Does it bother you when you have to try to explain what the art is?
Well, I think the great thing about art is that it's open to interpretation. So when I do my work and I build it, I know what it means to me. But I don't think that meaning is fixed, and I think when people come and look at it and see things in it that are that they can relate to and understand or connect, people have associations, and those are really valid and really important. And so I like it when people bring their own interpretations to the work.
In the time we have left, we're showing different pieces of your art. I'm curious about this. We're here at the Newark Museum. This series is dedicated to featuring artists and talking about arts education and talking about opportunities for young people, particularly in our cities like Newark, to explore the arts.
Yeah.
Young people in cities like Newark, they don't have enough opportunities to experience art, to go into art, to become artists, correct?
Yeah, I think that's true, yeah.
And what could it do for them if they had more opportunities?
Well,
a few seconds left. Go ahead.
Okay. I think what's important in art is that you can follow your own path. So I think for kids, and that was certainly true for me, and I think it's true for all kids, that you can follow your passion and make and do kind of what you want and control your own destiny. And I think the art has that to offer. And so if there's a way to offer that to kids and encourage them to follow their passion, I think that's an important thing that can be done for kids.
Real quick before I let you out of here. If you weren't an artist, do you have any idea what you'd do?
I'm in it, man. I love what I do, and I love to build things. I love to make things with my hands, and I worked as a carpenter when I was a young man, and I think that comes through in my work. But I make things with my hands. So.
Well, the fact that you're able to do what you do, and people can appreciate it, is a gift. And obviously, we thank you for joining us here at the Newark Museum. This series is dedicated to featuring artists and talking about artistic opportunities for young people as well, younger people. So Tom Nussbaum, thank you, but also particularly for that playground in Montclair that our kids appreciate every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence, and by the Newark Museum, in cooperation with NJTV, N13 for WNET. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at Newark Museum has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, University Hospital, Johnson & Johnson, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, the Fidelco Group, and by the North Ward Center. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
Your health is a precious resource, the foundation for everything you do. So at Barnabas Health, we do all we can to restore, protect, and improve it. Should you need care, we offer world-renowned specialists and amazing technology. Yet we also have hundreds of programs to help you avoid the need for that care in the first place. We're here for your health, so you can live, love, work, play, and dream. Barnabas Health. Life is better, healthy.